Hello, everybody. Thank you everybody for coming over tonight. So I'm Alex, by the way. I'm Delmarva REI. I guess we're running the group here, and I'm happy to connect with everybody here. Thank you, Austin. So we have Whitehead Rental Management today as our guest speaker. And I'm just gonna shout out that they just won Coastal, was it?
Both Coastal Association of Realtors, Best of, Coastal Style, that's right, Coastal Style Magazine, Best of, and Metropolitan Magazine, Best of. So this is the first year that property management was actually a option, category to put in, and we kind of advocated for that and pushed it. So, so I'm very pleased and happy and honored to say that we won on both categories.
And honestly, it's 100%. I like all day long, if I have any questions or anything, or I have referred to anybody, is Micki and Austin, and the team is awesome. I'm really happy that we got connected really early in the career. My wife told me, if you have rentals, you have to get a property management. And then we talked to Micki, and it's okay, she's it, and then she is it. It's awesome.
Thank you.
And so tonight we're gonna just talk about some property management, tips and ideas and regulations, whatever Micki has. Just take notes. We will connect everybody later on. You have the packets. I won't take any more time. I think you've been doing this for how many years?
So this is my 16th year doing property management in our area. So within our entire community, I live here, I'm a resident, and I've been doing it for 16 years in our entire area. So,
awesome.
Yeah.
And Austin, you've been a real estate agent and a broker, right?
Yep, I am a broker. Whitehead Rental Management is a brokerage. I've been in real estate full time since 2015, and my father's been in the business since 2006. So, been in going on a few years. Yep.
Yeah. And they sponsored today our awesome appetizers. Thank you so much. Yeah. And all right, I won't take more time. Thank you so much.
Cool. Well, thank you, Alex, for a great introduction. Again, my name is Micki Rickards. I'm the property manager for Whitehead Rental Management. Austin is the owner of the company. Work for the best. He is. I have been doing this for 16 years in this town, in this area. So I won't just say this town, because obviously we have all the surrounding counties that we also service. So Salisbury, Wicomico, Somerset, Worcester County, Dorchester County. We even go up to Talbot County. This year we have actually spread our wings a little bit and have gone to the Delaware side things. We have Sussex County all the way down to the Delaware beaches. And then as far as south, I think right now the furthest south that we have anything is in Pocomoke. So we do try to service. I think the farthest north I have is Preston, Maryland. So even as far north as that, so a little bit past, even on the Talbot County side. So if I can get there within an hour or two, usually I'll consider it. My main concern is that I just want to be a good service for you. So if it's worth it, I'll be completely honest and full exposure. Whether it's worth me taking on, and if I feel like it's not something that I can take on, then I'll suggest someone that could. So I am also a resident of Wicomico County. I am married and I have 5 children. Jagger is one of my children that are here today. I'm also have a wonderful husband, and he is 35 years with UPS. And in regards to Whitehead, as of October, we have been born 5 years. 5 years, so very excited about that. Austin and his father, previous to Whitehead, I worked for another company and I managed their properties through that company. So when it came time for me to grow and move on, I actually came to Darren first, which is his dad, and was like, hey, what can we do here? And so October 1st of 2018 is when we opened up Whitehead Rental Management. We started with 0 properties. 0, and we're up to almost 300 now. Yeah. So I think with that, a lot of it is not only just the work and the respect that I've built through previous work, but also joining with a company that also has a profound respect in this town was very important to me. I knew that if I was going to make the jump, it had to be with someone who absolutely represented my, my whole ethics of working, and they were perfect with that. So just like they were saying, we're very proud that we won the Coastal Style Coastal Style magazine, and then what really surprised me was the Metropolitan, probably even more than Coastal Style. Why, I'm not sure, but I was super excited, so very honored to do that. Just to tell you a little bit about Whitehead Rental Management, full service rental management company. So what does that mean? Okay, so it's one thing just to have someone that can represent you and to manage your properties, but you also want someone that's just going to advocate you after hours, give you some good advice, know the market, be able to work with you on multiple deals, be able to take the time to actually meet you outside of the properties, meet you in person. So if there's one thing that I've heard from many clients is that I was the only person that offered to meet you in person. So it's one thing that I've always done is when a client calls me or they have a property, I don't just give them a quote over the phone or an estimate, because I can look anything up on the MLS, right? And I can look at pictures on the internet and kind of get a good idea. And since I've been here for so long, I know the market. So a lot of it's based on where it's located, what school district it's in, what the property looks like, how many wow factors does it have, so there's a lot of things just to go into play. And then usually I can do that from just pictures on the internet. But to take the time to physically go out and meet with the person, go over these things. I never show up empty-handed, so go over with the packets, let them know what our business represents, what we do, I think is just that extra touch and extra service. And when I met Alex for the first time, and Erin, she's the one who told me too, you're the only one that met me out at the property, and I started at their very first one. And of course, everybody knows that he's blown up from there. So what is a full service management company? Okay, so not only do I have a full staff in the office who will be able to answer multiple questions or be able to help you with anything you need, but we also have a maintenance department as well. And we have a maintenance on-hand man. If it's anything technical or needs someone with a broader license or whatever, then obviously we have preferred vendors. We have amazing relationships with outside contractors, and we've built that relationships, and we always pass those vendor pricing on to our owners, okay? But when you're a full service management company, I want to start from the beginning to the end, okay? So the beginning of it, in my personal first meeting with you, is to evaluate your property, okay? So a lot of times, and Mike can verify this, sometimes it's not even about me meeting you. Shoot me an MLS number. Shoot me a link to what house you're looking at, and I will look at it real quick, and maybe it's something that I can say, well, if it's in this area, this is probably, my first proposed rental estimate that I can give you. Now, if I walk through it and I see that it has a little bit more, then maybe it will go up from there. But I can at least give you like the bottom line general. But what I really want to do is, if you have a property that you're really looking to invest in and you want to do it, then let's go together. Let me go and meet you at the property. We'll walk through it, and I'll let you know exactly what I know I can get for rent, okay? Sometimes, just like in the sales market, well, I wish we could get this. Well, we could put it at that, and in this market, it's probably likely that it can happen. But I also just want to be completely honest with you. A lot of times what this market has also brought is high expectations with prices, whether it's sales or rentals. So I just want to, of course I'll comfort that, but at the same time, I just want to make sure that you know that honestly, this is where I think that you're going to be. Okay, so that's the whole reason to evaluate the property. A lot of times the pictures are deceptive too, because any realtor knows that we have editing programs, and we make things look a little bit better than what they can sometimes. So just physically walking through it just helps me, look at even the neighborhood Is it next to a chicken warehouse? You know, just different things. I've been here for a long time, but there's still obviously places streets I've never walked down. So it's good. So we do the absolute, evaluate the property, let you know what I feel professionally. It should be marketed for rent, and I'll let you know why. Also, a big thing about me walking through too is that I'm going to let you know from there what you can do to enhance the property to make sure that you're getting the maximum rent for your investment. Okay, so if it needs a little bit of touches on the paint, or maybe gravel driveway, or whatever it is, I would be, you know, one to tell you, give you some suggestions. Okay. Another thing about Whitehead Rental Management is that we have gone above and beyond to make sure that we have the best softwares and the best screening programs that are available to us, okay? So in order for me to make sure that I'm getting you qualified tenants, okay, we have to have a good screening process. It is a policy in our office that we don't even show the properties until you're approved, okay? So they have to go through the entire screening process before they're approved. What qualifies them to even get a showing appointment is they have to have a 600 credit score or better. They have to show that they make at least 3 times the amount of rent, okay, which means they have to show me proof of income, whether it be their paycheck stubs, Social Security. I really don't accept child support because that can end or begin at any time, so that's not a real effective income for me. But they have to show their income. And then with our screening, we'll also do a previous landlord verification to make sure there is no prior evictions or judgments against them. And then we'll do a criminal background history nationwide. So that's really important because we're real close to 2 state lines, right? So where we're at in Maryland, we have Virginia and we have Delaware here. So it's important for us to do a criminal background that's nationwide so we know where they're coming. This screening lets me know if they've even had a speeding ticket in California. So it's really good. And then we try to do our due diligence. There is no guarantee at the end of the day, and I don't claim that there is, but we do as much as we can above and beyond just what our system pulls. We have landlord verification forms that we send to the previous landlords so that they can give us a true, you know, their honest opinion on what this tenant's like, and then ask questions like, how did they leave the property? Did they have any pets that weren't approved? Did they give you proper notice to vacate? Obviously, property management is more than just rent collection, right? So that's the easy part. If all you had to do was collect rent, then you would do it yourself, because that's the easy part. So we do rent collection. Obviously, we have a way of doing direct deposit with all of our owners as well, so you can get paid faster. But there's a lot with it. So when there's tenants that are not paying on time, my crew and my team at the office, we're making phone calls prior to that 5th day, because Maryland state law says I have to give them a 5-day grace period. So before that 5th day, my team is on the phone and just sending them quick reminders. Hey, you know, rent's due by 5 o'clock on this day before any late fee or court filing fees are assessed on your thing. So we have a lot. Our team is great. You know, we have a lot that's going on in the back end to make sure, because that's my job. At the end of the day, my job is to make sure my owners get paid. That is my long-term goal. So everything else just falls into place to make sure that happens, but my real job is to make sure that my owners get paid for their properties. So our team is in works. They do that. In the event that they don't pay, then our team is filling out all the forms that are required to us by law. Our team is also very informative. We stay up on all legislation. We know all the laws that have changed, everything that they're requiring us to do. We make sure that any new forms that come out, we have to stay on top of that, because the minute that they change the forms and we fill out an old one, they won't accept it. So we're constantly doing all that. That's one thing that you guys don't get those notices about. And, you know, and a property management company is absolutely, it's so important to know these things. And then there's a lot of laws obviously changed that just because of COVID. You know, so COVID was born. Now we have new forms that are called intent to file. So instead of being able to file on right away, we have to then send an intent form that says we're giving you an extra 10 days to pay your rent, and then we're filing. Okay. So also, as a property manager, I go to court for you as your liaison. You don't have to fill out the paperwork. We go to court and we make sure that all this gets done for you. So on the legal aspect, the only thing that we can't represent you in court is on a civil court action. However, I still play a big part in the back end. So any sort of civil court action, we still fill out all the forms. We make sure that everything is processed through the courts for you. The only thing you have to do is come to court on the day, and then I always meet with my owners a couple days before court to say, this is what you need to expect. This is what the judge is going to ask you. This is what they're going to try to make you do, and this is how you need to respond. If I feel, excuse me, if I feel that I have an owner that's very uneasy with the whole court process, makes them very nervous to be in front of a judge, all that stuff, then I'll write a list of questions, like make sure that you just stay on cue, this is what you do, and I will always come to court with every owner as a witness. So at the end of the day, if all else fails, you can say, hey, I've got my property manager, Micki, here, she can speak on my behalf, and they will say yes. So then I would, the biggest thing that trips them up, they're like, well, where is it in the lease that says that? And the owners immediately look at me. I don't know. So I have to make sure, that I'm there to represent you, okay? So also within property management, one of probably the biggest things that you guys will need and should want is property inspections, okay? Not being a property owner and having that arm's reach alleviates you from being emotionally attached, being in conflict. A lot of times there's a lot of like emotions that get involved. With a property management company, they should have routine inspections. I know at Whitehead, we do them at least twice a year. That's what we at least guarantee our owners, is that we do them twice a year. And then if we need to have them more than that, then we will. And it would just depend on the circumstance. So if I go to a property and the tenant, obviously we're there to check on the tenants, right? We want to see what the properties look like. If the tenant is not being compliant with the lease terms, then I will give them 10, 15 days to fix whatever I'm not happy with, and then we come back and do a re-inspection. If they're still not being compliant with the lease, which just means not taking care of your property, then we'll work towards a breach of contract and get them out, okay? With the inspections also as well, it's not just to creep on the tenants. We want to make sure that we're doing you a service for your own properties. So it's important for us to know and to relay to you upkeep on your own property. So we'll check little things like the electrical, the GFIs, make sure there's no plumbing leaks, check the roof while we're there, maybe go under the house, the crawl space, doing the attic, different stuff like that. Just check little things, and then all of our inspection reports you receive with pictures and suggestions on upkeep or things that need to be done, and then we'll work with you to do that, okay? Obviously the maintenance, I told you a little about that. We have a maintenance department. If it's anything that we can't do in-house, we have preferred vendors that we work with hand in hand. We get great prices from them, but there's nothing that we can't do. We do from small minor repairs to big renovations, and I brought a couple pictures here that I'll pass out for you. But for the most part, there's nothing that we do to any of our owners' properties without your permission. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is the call is going to come on to us, and then we're going to call you and say, hey, we got a tenant at this property, and this is what she says. How do you want me to proceed? A lot of owners might have their own contracting company. A lot of owners might do their own work themselves. So if they want to do it, that's fine, but if you want us to take care of it, we will do it. If anybody wants an estimate or a price first, we do that and then proceed with the work. So obviously we take care of any evictions and any move outs. We'll coordinate any of that. And we do it from top to bottom. So when when a move out's coming out, the first thing I do is set up an inspection with them 30 days prior to the move out. I want to be completely transparent with the tenant and say, this is what I expect. I want to make sure that everybody knows that I, am very anal about people wiping out the cabinets in the kitchen. Make sure that there's no hair in your bathrooms. Just the little stuff that in a general move out, someone might not think of because they're, they've had a long day. They've moved out all day. But I'm not in the business to take security deposits either. So if I can do one inspection just to make sure that we were completely open with them, nobody's going to move in if your sugar fell over on the time of move out and now my cabinet's full of sugar. You have to wipe that out. And if you don't, I have to send my cleaners because I'm not wiping it out. Okay, so I try to let them know that we don't want to use as much as your security deposit as possible, so we go over that. And then of course we do the last inspection the last day after they've moved out, when the house is completely empty and we know exactly what we're working with. So a couple other things, because obviously we have investors in the house, right? So I love the little slogan that Alex put up for me, and appreciate that, about the power of property management. So I figured I needed to just escalate on that just a tiny bit, and then I won't keep you. But there are some benefits of property management for investors, especially if you guys are new investors. Some of you are old investors, and whatever the case may be. But the first thing is the experience. So I don't toot my own horn. I learn something every day in this business. As long as I've done it, I swear to the Lord, there is always something that comes up and it's like, wow. So but the experience that I do have is, I think that is invaluable to you guys, and I'm available at 9 o'clock at night, and I'm available on a Saturday afternoon call, or see my husband shaking his head, or just everything that, like, there's nothing, even if it's just a quick text message or a call, I make it a priority to make sure that you guys know that I am available. So, and any expertise that I can give, any voice of opinion, any comfort that I can do, even if it's just a cheerleader in the back, know that you're making the right decision, then I'm here for you. The second thing would be the marketing and the tenant acquisition. Obviously, we are big on marketing. We make sure that we thoroughly look at the properties. We make sure that we do back ends. Anytime that somebody calls me about a property, I'm always looking at the MLS. I'm looking at previous sales of the property. I make sure that I know as much as I can about the property before I even meet with everybody. And then I'll know how to market it. And then again, like I said, if there's anything that needs to be improved, or if it's just good the way it is, I certainly want to bounce off of those expertise. Our website syndicates to about 240 different websites, including Zillow, Trulia, Realtor.com, all the big ones that are out there, so that you know that you're getting the proper marketing for all your properties and all the most popular search engines. Rent collection and financial management, obviously that's the easy part. The financial management part of it, we do have a tenant portal system and an owner portal system that literally gives you a real-time ledger of all your money coming in and coming out. At the end of the year with your taxes, we make sure that you get your financial records that you need, your 1099, and then your statement by building, because your 1099 is only going to show your income, right? So we need to make sure that we get you a statement building that's then going to offset your expenses that you have for the year, to make sure that you can walk into your accounting office and have everything you need. Okay, then and then the legal compliance and risk management. Obviously, I got a fly or a gnat or something that's on it. So property management also can help with real estate investors comply with any local, state, or federal regulations. We can mitigate any risks that are associated with property ownership, and then ensure any property licensing and regulations through the city. So literally with your city and licensing, we got to make sure that you're compliant with you're in the city limits. And then if there's any MDE associated with the property, which means lead, right? We have to make sure that you're compliant with those. We do visual inspections for you. We make sure that when you have the lead inspector come in, that you're ready for it. Or if you have the city inspector come in to do the city inspection, that you're ready for it. We do our best to do that. And then we have a very good relationship and rapport with the city inspectors to be able to work with them. So even if it's not completely ready or something, usually where we've done it for so long, they'll just say, send me a picture and we'll give you, send the license out. So it's really important to just have those relationships as well. The experience and obviously knowledge of property management. I've been doing this for a long time. I've worked with a lot of other management companies, and I think that our experience and our knowledge in this field is impeccable. The local market and conditions regulations, knowing the local market and the conditions of the property, managers who are familiar with the local market and advise rental levels and tenant attraction and the retention. And then at the end of the day, there is a couple little things here that I wanted to say. So why do people invest in properties? First, if it's passive income, right? So this means that it's recurring income that's that you have to put relative little effort to put into it. It's flexibility to sell at the right time. So sometimes we're landlords by default. So maybe it's a person that's passed away in your family and it's left you a property, and then you're a landlord by default. So you might want to keep on to that property, keep it for a little while until either the market gets better or the profit of the property gets a little bit better, those sort of things. Make sure that the property value appreciation, so it gives you an option to sell when the time is right, instead of just selling quick because you've landed on a property that you weren't expecting. And then And then another thing is that the property investing also has some good tax benefits to it. So that you got your property tax, you'll be able to use these as tax deductibles on your property tax, your mortgage interest, maintenance and repairs, any owner expenses, even such as travel. And then obviously you'll be able to apply for capital gains that are deferring, again, some one we've talked about before, the 1031 exchange. So there's big tax benefits also for investing in properties. And then little things on some of the management meetings or even business meetings, they'll say, did you know, or have you heard, that right now Maryland is the 4th highest state in regards to property rental prices? That's not to discourage us, so that's good, right? You know, I'm not trying to say it's a bad thing, but on a property management level or an investment level, you know, we have pretty good rental prices in our area. So it's a pretty good time to invest in rental properties. And then I have the different markets, and this is a little low right now, but I have some statistics that I put out that right now, even for a 4-bedroom house, they're saying that the average is about $1,780 a month. I think that's a really little bit low right now. You know, if it's for a 4-bedroom, again, this would depend on where it's at, what it's located, how the condition of the property, what school district it's in, those sort of things. So there's a lot of things that go into property management. It's obviously my passion. I've been doing it for a long time. I feel like that's why I've been you know, good at what I do, because I love it. I have great relationships with a lot in here. Alex has been a blessing. He's been a real good, obviously an owner with our company, and Austin and his family has been a blessing to ours, and we're grateful for that. And if you guys need anything, we appreciate you, and we would love your business if you have it. And if you need any help or even insight, like wanting to do this business in the near future or even late future, and you just don't know how to get in it, take my cell phone number, shoot me a house, tell me what you think you can get it rented for, and you can make the decision at the end whether it's a good deal for you. Okay, thank you.